Hey guys, this is Savvy with Sunspark Creative, and today I'm here with Jacob Garrett, our awesome local Birmingham photographer, to learn a little bit about the ins and outs of his photography business. So Jacob, tell us your story. How did you get started in the photography industry here?
So my start was actually fairly simple. I took graduation photos of my older sister and her friends in, when was that? 2018, I think. Okay. 2018, 2017, somewhere around there. And so that was my first ever gig. I made $100.
All right.
It was pretty sweet. And then from there, I just started taking more portraits. I did street photography. It was all very bad street photography, but it was street photography, and then that's also how I met Dustin.
Okay. Was he roaming the streets with you?
He was. I actually took him and his wife Caitlin's couples photos in 2018 also. They were also terrible, but it was a fun experience. And then he slid into my DMs like 3 months later, and then we went on a photo walk.
Nice.
And then now we're best friends.
And you go photo walks all the time.
Exactly.
It's
yeah.
full circle.
Right. It's pretty sweet.
That's so cool. So tell me a little bit about some of the photographers that you admire and aspire to be like.
So there are a few of them. The main two right now are this guy called Willem Verbeek and then Joe Greer. They're both pretty popular on Instagram, but both of their styles heavily influence how I shoot.
Nice.
Willem shoots mainly landscapes, and then Joe started out with landscapes. He does a little bit of everything, but they're my two most influential right now. And then there's some sports photographers that I really like because I also love sports photography.
Right.
One of them is Nathaniel Butler. He's like the GOAT of sports photography. He's been shooting the NBA for decades and decades and decades. So like MJ, everyone, like he's been everywhere taking some phenomenal photos. And then there's this other guy, his name is Matthew David Stiff. I think that's how you pronounce his name. But he shoots soccer, and how he shoots is more similar to Willem and Joe. It feels almost more like lifestyle-esque, where he's like capturing the event, the day as a whole. So like a lot of fan shots, a lot of like workers at the stadiums, wherever they are, the players, and he shoots a lot of wide angle, which isn't very common in sports photography because obviously they're usually very far away.
Yeah.
He does shoot telephoto, but a lot of wide angle too, which is super dope. And then a few others, just to name them off quickly. Linus, I think her name is Emily. Her Instagram handle is the Vetiverse. She does a lot of street photography in Brooklyn. And then Albert Watson, who's also been shooting for decades. He does a lot of fashion photography. And then Fan Ho and Leonard Freed are two like photographers from the 50s and 60s. Leonard Freed was big in the civil rights movement. He shot all over the country, really, but also phenomenal work. That's pretty much everyone.
Cool. Very cool. So, can you tell us a little bit about some photo series that you've worked on in the past that are particularly meaningful to you?
I've lived in Highland Park now for 2 years.
Yes.
And then basically my entire Instagram is just Highland Park.
And they're stunning. The photos are beautiful.
Thank you, very kind. But I shoot that area all the time. And then I'm wanting to shoot more of downtown Birmingham and the surrounding area as well, because at some point I would love to make a book of Birmingham. So that's still ongoing. I don't know when it'll be finished, but hopefully in the next year or two.
All right, Jacob, This is your chance.
Yes.
You get to work with your dream client with a massive budget.
Right.
What's the project like?
Okay. It would definitely be a lifestyle shoot. I'm really into that right now.
All right.
It would be for more than likely a clothing brand.
Very cool.
I think something similar to like Golf LaFleur, Tyler the Creator.
Yes. Something
very colorful, and I'd love to do it on a golf course. So like very wide angle shots.
Gotcha.
Very saturated colors. I think it'd be very fun. And then of course I'd have to bring some friends on with me.
Yes.
I would obviously have to hire on a production with me.
You have to hire the best.
Exactly, yeah. So I'd have Dustin come do video, Madison will produce it for us, build out a whole team and make something sick.
Killer.
Yeah.
Boogie boys. Boogie boys. All right, what's your go-to editing software?
I use Lightroom Classic.
Nice.
There is a difference. There's Lightroom Classic and there's Lightroom CC. My friend Dustin uses Lightroom CC.
Okay.
But Lightroom Classic, the way to go. And then I also use Snapseed on my phone.
Oh, nice.
So I rarely crop the photos in Lightroom because I just like having the full image. So I'll take it in the Snapseed and then I'll crop it 4x5.
Nice.
And then you can throw a border on there if you want to, since borders are super in. And yeah, Lightroom and Snapseed.
That's what you want. Okay. Best shoot you ever went on. Go.
It's actually a recent one. It was with my friends Alex, Mason, and Dustin. It was just for fun. It was over at the Highland Park golf course, and I shot a roll and a half of film. So not a lot of photos, but shooting completely on film was at Sunset. It's a beautiful golf course, and I got to hang out with my friends and take some cool photos.
Yeah. Isn't this where the Bogey Boys was formed?
This was exactly where the Bogey Boys was formed.
Do you have any photography techniques or equipment that you particularly like to use when you go working on shoots?
So, fun fact, I am probably the least technical photographer you'll ever meet.
All right.
I know almost nothing about technicalities or specific equipment, but I do have this light meter app that I use all the time. It is perfect, absolutely incredible. Free app, but it works perfectly, and it has exposed all of my film perfectly. So, light meter app.
How cool. And it's called Light Meter app?
It's called Light Meter.
Okay,
Yep.
Sweet.
Yep.
Good to know. All right, if you could send out a special message to your ideal client somewhere in the city or beyond, what would you say to them?
I think it would go directly to Mason Music Fest. I love shooting concerts, and I love shooting it on film. I actually shot my first concert on film last January, or this past January. The photos turned out pretty decent.
Cool.
So I think it'd be super fun.
What can you bring to the table for that kind of a shoot that other photographers can't?
Great question. I do think I shoot differently than most photographers. I say that. They could all shoot the exact same way.
No, you
I just
shoot
think I'm
differently.
different.
You definitely shoot differently.
I think I bring a certain style. Like I try and capture how it feels to be at the event. So like a lot of crowd shots, a lot of, I don't know, again, wide angle stuff.
What kind of feelings are you trying to capture?
I don't know, how fun it is, how fun concerts are, and how cool the Avondale space is too.
Yeah, the Avondale space is really very cool.
It really is. It's pretty dope.
It's one of my favorite concert spaces in the city.
Same, absolutely.
Plus, they've got that big grassy hill.
That's what I'm
and
saying.
You can just hang out.
That's
and
what
it's
I'm
so
saying.
nice at
That's what I'm
sunset.
saying.
It's killer. The great debate.
The great debate.
Canon or Nikon?
So I actually started shooting on Nikon.
Okay.
For my first few years, I shot on my mom's Nikon D3400. Phenomenal camera. Absolutely perfect. Would change nothing about it. And then I went to a Nikon D810, just the biggest camera you could ever imagine. Horrible in low light, but it was.
Was it like weightlifting?
Yes, it was. It was also at the time of my, I guess, career where I was like, ooh, the bigger the camera, the more
better.
professional I look.
Yeah.
So it's got a massive camera and a massive lens. Hilarious camera. I shoot Canon now, for film and for digital.
Why the swap?
I don't know if this is real or not, but I think the Canon colors are better.
All right.
That's what everyone says, at least.
Heard it here.
I haven't shot Nikon in forever, but nowadays there's not a bad camera out there. Like Nikon and Canon, I don't think it really matters. Like the Z line from Nikon is phenomenal. And they own Red now, so they're pretty much a big deal.
Well, there you go.
But Red, Dustin actually just bought a Red.
But you can't buy them, you have to rent them.
Well, for the Red you can, because it's consumer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's why it's a big deal. But yeah, whenever you own a Red, you're like a professional. So there's a few people, not a few, there's a lot of people in Birmingham that own Reds. But they're very cool. And now Nikon just bought them out like, I don't know, a few months ago, I think.
Oh, okay. Interesting. They should start a club.
They should start a club.
Red Birmingham.
Red Birmingham. I shoot Canon. I'm all aboard the Nikon hype train. You know, either or.